Well, welcome to this information session hosted by BFI Network South East. This is to cover everything you need to know on our series of emerging producers labs across the region. For some housekeeping, this session is being recorded and hosted on our website. We have set it to only record our own video feed, but just be aware of that in case you ask a question verbally, as we're going to record the Q&A session as well, if anyone's got any questions. There are also automated closed captions available if you want them. You just click the CC button on the tool panel of your Zoom call window. My name's Kat Haylett. I'm the events officer for BFI Network South East. And for anyone who needs a visual description, I'm a white woman with blonde hair and a yellow gingham short-sleeved shirt. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Sammy. I'm one of the BFI Network talent officers for BFI Network Southeast. A visual description of me, I am of Chinese Vietnamese descent with black hair and I'm wearing a black t-shirt.
Thank you. So, to recap, for anyone who doesn't know, we're hosting 3 producers labs across the Southeast region. There'll be one in Slough in August, one in Colchester in September, and one in Tunbridge Wells in October. And there's a lot more information on the application webpage as well. And I'm just going to put a link to that in the chat in case you haven't already seen it. And then just one piece of additional info before we kick off. The first deadline for the first lab, which is taking place in Slough, has now passed. But because we are hosting this session after that deadline, if you have already submitted an application to Slough, but you want to amend it based on anything we cover in the session, you can email us an update and just make sure you send it to us by first thing on Monday at the latest. And also, if you miss the Slough deadline and we're happy to grant some leeway. So if you want to send us your application again by first thing on Monday, we will still consider it. This is because we had to delay this information session. There's a lot more time until the other 2 deadlines, so we're going to be a bit more flexible with this first one, but the other 2 are going to be fixed. So do prepare if you're planning to apply for those. And then the structure of this online information session is that I'm going to ask Sammy some questions about the labs and she'll answer them. And then we'll have a little bit of time at the end for questions. So you can write them in the chat or you can ask them verbally by using the hand raising function. That's fine too. And we've scheduled this for a lunchtime slot, but if anyone needs to drop off, like we said, it's being recorded and we'll make it available on our website, hopefully later today. So you won't have to miss anything, so that's fine. Great. Okay. Sammy, would you like to tell us what will be covered in the labs?
Yes, so we're going to mimic the life cycle of making a short film. So we're going to start by covering development, and then we'll go into finance and budgeting, and then production logistics, all the way to prep, production, and post, and then festival release. So we're going to try and cover quite a lot of ground, so you can have a very clear idea of what it's like to be producing a short film.
Great. And but moving more on to the application
Yeah,
itself, could you talk about what we want to see in the application?
sure.
There are 4 main questions that we ask in the application. So should we go through those one by one?
Yeah, I think it'd be quite helpful. So the first question is, tell us about your creative track record, previous work experience, or any other qualifications you feel are relevant. So this could be previous short films that you've produced, and if you haven't done that, things that are close, like theatre production, or if you worked in commercials, or if you have on-set experience, that's really useful to hear about. And if you don't have that either, project management. So there's lots of transferable skills in other sectors that you can mention too. I think what will be helpful in this question is to be quite example based. So you can talk about your experience producing something and then how that sort of applies to being a short film producer. The second question is tell us about a short film that you saw recently that had an impact on you. This is good for us to know what your tastes. You can talk about why that film impacted you, what you liked about it, what you appreciated about it. You can even talk about something that you didn't like either as well. It's always good to hear people's different perspectives of different short films. These could be ones that you've seen online. They could be at a festival that you went to. There's quite a lot on iPlayer or Channel 4. They could be long, they can be short, just as long as it's something that you feel that you've connected to. The third question is tell us about the elements of producing that you were drawn to. So I think this could be at any stage of production. It could be, you're a really logistical person, you like doing the planning, or you like writing budgets, or you like the development process because you're more in the creative mindset, or it could be everything. But I think it's good to give again an example of one part of the producing process that you enjoy and why you enjoy it. And that's really helpful for us to know where your strengths are. And then the last question, tell us what you hope to get from attending this lab. This is really helpful for us, actually. So, we've already got quite a fixed schedule planned, but if there's anything in particular that we're seeing a lot of people want to know about, then we can try and push that in our day, in our schedule. And one thing I've got to mention actually in what we're covering is actually we're doing something quite specific in these producing labs, given that we're going on a tour, is that we're trying to create a local community in each place we're going to. And so what we found from one of the labs we did previously is a lot of people wanted to get out a sense of community too. So that's just an example of applicants being honest in what they want and us trying to meet those needs.
And would you say that attending this lab would put you at an advantage for applying to the short film fund?
I mean, we wouldn't like prioritize names that we've seen be who've gone through the labs when we see them in the short film fund. But hopefully, what I hope is that the people who've attended these labs have now the right tools and are armed with the right knowledge to put in a really good application. But when it comes down to it, we judge the projects as a whole.
That's great. And then just on some logistical things, in terms of who is eligible for these labs, the first thing is that you have to be based in the South East region. If you go to the application webpage, there is a map linked there, so you can double check if you are actually residing in the Southeast, because sometimes it can be hard to tell. We do ask for proof of address if you're successful, so that's why, it's important to be honest about that. The other thing is that you must not have a short film that has been funded by BFI Network. So if you have been funded through the BFI Network Short Film Fund, then you are ineligible for these labs. The other thing is that it's not necessarily eligibility, but you should feel that you are in a position to apply for the Short Film Fund, just because this is who these labs are aimed at, and this will help us sort of pitch them at the same level for everyone attending. We also have a commitment to offer at least half of the spaces for each lab to working class identifying applicants. You can see a little bit more detail about that and why that decision was made on the application page, but it is self-identification. So we're not going to ask you for proof of that. You just have to tick if you think that you fall into that category. Also, because the labs are spread around the Southeast region, we ask that you apply to the labs that are closest to you or your unitary authority. We have split out the various counties and regions, which you can also see on the application page. But if for any reason one of them is more convenient for you to attend, then and you don't necessarily live in that specific area, that's fine. You can just let us know. Again, you have to be based in the Southeast, but if for any reason one of them is more convenient for you, then that's fine. You can just get in touch or you can put it in your application. Yes. And then, Sammy, do you want to talk a little bit about whether alumni of our other programs should apply for this?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are writers, producers, directors, and we run a lot of labs, so you're completely eligible to apply. There are some labs that will have overlap with this one, so do email us actually if you're unsure that there'll be a lot of crossover between this lab and a lab that you've attended previously. We can let you know. For example, the Future Producers Lab we ran last year there'll be quite a bit of crossover, so it might not be so helpful for you to attend this one again. But we're aware of people who've applied and we'll let everyone know.
Yeah, great. Have you got any other questions?
No, not really. Good luck to everyone. Hope to see you all at the labs. And yeah, that's it really.